Then he accepted Falma's offer, and a few weeks later, Pierre's shop had been completely rebuilt with the crowds of people. This condition is the same as Falma's shop, and Pierre is grateful to accept Falma's offer at that time. Several days have passed, and at night, Bruno dreams of his past with someone named Camus. He has done something very cruel by doing strange experiments on humans.
死んでも死んでも人は再生するんだよ。天才の名を欲しいままにした貴様がなぜわかるだろう。
After finishing breakfast, Falma saw Bruno, who was thinking about something. But Bruno said that he only remembered something about an incident in the past. Then Bruno received a letter from Falma and Blanche's older brother, Pal. Pal told Bruno about a serious problem in another country that had been going on for a long time. Then Bruno told Falma to have a discussion in his private room. Bruno said that soon there would be a bazaar in the city of Marseille, and merchants from all over the world would gather there. Bruno told Falma to remain careful because, according to Pal's report, one of the countries named Nettle was experiencing a strange epidemic. This has left more than 1,000 people dead. The cause is still unknown. When the greatest scientific team was researching the plague sample, 2 people died suddenly, and the research site was sealed so as not to take more lives. The symptoms suffered by the 2 people who died were different. The first person experienced dizziness, fever, vomiting, and a lump in the neck appeared. Then the second person's body condition is more severe than the first person's. The skin of the hands and feet turns black due to cell death. The main problem that the Bruno family has to deal with is a cargo ship from Nettle. They will visit the bazaar in the city of Marseille, and the possibility of transmitting the plague is still there. All research and corpses affected by this plague have been burned, which is the only way to keep the epidemic from spreading. But there are still sketches of outbreak samples that are still being kept by researchers. This sample sketch could be made by them thanks to the microscope that Falma created at that time. But the researchers don't know who created this microscope, because Falma deliberately asked to hide his name publicly when this tool was distributed worldwide. After hearing Bruno's explanation, Falma almost knew what kind of plague it was, and he wanted Bruno to write a letter to Pal. Pal had to make a copy of the sketch plague so Falma could find out the details of the plague. The next day, Falma talked about this to Ellen. Ellen was surprised after hearing Falma's explanation. What they have to do now is prevent the spread of the epidemic. Then Charlotte came to hand over a letter from Pal to Falma. When Falma opened it, he understood this plague very well because it had happened on Earth before. A few days had passed. Falma and Ellen immediately informed the procedures of plague prevention for those who were ordered to Marseille City. Yesterday, Falma had also contacted Marseille's regional ruler, Adam, to make a quarantine place before the ship's crew docked there. Falma and Ellen would follow them to Marseille after discussing this procedure with Bruno and the Queen. First, Falma and Ellen will tell Bruno about the plague that will threaten the city of Marseille, and it turns out that Bruno also knows the name of this plague. Bubonic plague is a disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which originates from fleas in animals such as rats. This event can also be referred to as the Black Death, because the disease spread quickly and resulted in massive deaths in just a few days. According to the medical records that Bruno had read, the Black Death occurred 210 years ago. While on Earth, the Black Death had already happened in the states of Europe, Asia, and Africa in the 14th century, killing about 50 million people. Then Falma explained to Bruno that the procedure for preventing the spread of the epidemic had been carried out by 2 people who Falma ordered. Falma planned that the ships that would dock in Marseille City would be stopped first until Falma and Ellen checked the ship's crew in person. Then Bruno said that this plague has no cure because, in the medical records, there is no written way to cure it. But Falma said that he could make an effective antibiotic drug to fight this plague. Falma had also prepared this medicine a few days ago with the help of Falma's guild shop employees. After hearing this, Bruno immediately took Falma to Queen Elizabeth's place, then asked her to prepare a quarantine place for ships that would dock in the city of Marseille. On the other hand, the queen is holding a meeting. This meeting will discuss what has been achieved over the past few months, especially in the medical section. The imperial officials were very impressed with Thelma's shop for helping heal many people and reducing the number of deaths in this country. Elizabeth is also happy with Thelma's shop because the dangerous cosmetics are no longer there and replaced with Thelma's inventions that are safer. The queen thought about giving Thelma a peerage, but one of the officials said that age 10 is still not enough to get the peerage. The queen had just remembered this rule, so she would postpone this award until Thelma had met the general requirements for obtaining a peerage. In the queen's mind, she believed that Thelma possessed knowledge and power beyond human sanity. Queen Elizabeth will continue to support Thelma so that he can move freely with ease. After the meeting, Bruno and Thelma immediately meet Elizabeth, telling her about the plague threatening Marseille City. After explaining the situation, Thelma asked the queen to announce and make a quarantine place for the citizens, including the pharmacists and the pharmacy union, and also told the citizens to sterilize the clothes by boiling. This epidemic started from rats, and the condition of the residents' houses must be clean. Then the queen will follow all orders from Thelma. She believed that Thelma could overcome this plague and save the country from the threat of a dangerous epidemic.
全力でことに当たってくれ。それに何より深い芯を置いておるがゆえに。
A few days later, Thelma went to Pierre's shop to check the preparations and gave him a microscope. This tool is very useful in avoiding transmission through the sample being examined. Then Pierre also said the medicine supplied to cure people infected with this plague. The medicine had also been distributed to the shops of other Thelma Guild members in the quarantine area. Afterward, Thelma would go to his shop and entrust the plague prevention procedures to Pierre. He will lead the quarantine and inspection of citizens in Queen Elizabeth's empire. At the palace, the imperial officials reported that many ships had stopped in the middle of the sea. They were waiting for an inspection from Thelma and his friends. The quarantine grounds were also perfectly prepared, and Salomon of the Church's Inquisitor had gathered people with wind attributes of divine arts. It aims to purify and strengthen the Queen's imperial city from the contagion of the dangerous plague. Queen Elizabeth has also prepared a very large amount of money. This preparation was carried out as compensation for several countries whose trade routes were delayed due to inspections in Marseille City. At the same time, Thelma and Ellen, who had prepared equipment and medicine, went to Marseille City together. Thelma was worried about this outbreak because maybe something worse would happen. But Ellen convinced Thelma to be more confident because many people had supported him. Ellen would continue to accompany Thelma to prevent and overcome this dangerous plague, so Thelma didn't have to worry because he wasn't alone. After Thelma's heart and mind had calmed down, they immediately went to the Marseille City. The Queen also trusted Thelma completely to save this country and prevent the plague spread to various countries.
彼がこの時この国にいる幸運を生かせ。行こう、マーセールへ。